Hi there everyone, Tony here to talk about how media and deviance interact with each other. Now when first studying deviance, it may appear as though our ideas of deviance come from the media we consume, that we take in, that we see, that we hear. If we listen to rap songs, we may think, oh, this is more normalized, whereas if we listen to country, we may think, oh, rap, more like bad. Am I right? But it's actually a two-way street where media and deviance have an impact on each other. Now, this is explored in two papers, Construction of the Crack Mother Icon by Tracy R. Carpenter, and The Influence of Exposure to Depictions of Race and Crime in TV News on the Viewer's Social Judgments by Dana Mastro, Maria Knight-Lipinski, Maria A. Kopax, and Elizabeth Ben Morowitz. Now, the former takes a look at the tropes that are used in modern-day film for people of color. Mostly looking at men and women and how they interact and how these tropes come from older tropes used in minstrel shows, which were live action. So the TV tropes that we see in movies and TV evolved from old racist stereotypes, and this evolution came from the creators actually seeing the media of the minstrel shows and taking this idea saying, oh, this must be what's correct, and putting that into whatever they needed, which eventually evolved into the crack mother icon, where black women are more focused on getting their next fix of crack than they are on their own child. And this is also shown in the influence of exposure and depictions of race and crime in TV news on the viewer's social judgments, where they say that people who watch the news more and media in general are more likely to think of people of color as bad or negative in some way just from sight, which means that taking in all these negative perceptions increases that perception within ourselves. So we can look and say, oh, they must be part of this trope where they're negatively affected. So the incorrect trope that we take from earlier media gets internalized, and then we output that into more media, which other people internalize, put into more media, and it's a cycle where this racism is keeping itself afloat just by existing. So what we need to do to get rid of these racist caricatures is say, hey, let's look at these. Are these stories about real people? What kind of stories are being told? And this issue affects women of color doubly, as women in the media industry are given roles that are usually subservient to males. In fact, there's the Bechdel test, which talks about can two women talk about something other than a man for just 5 minutes? Because in the real world, that's what that's like. But in the media world, women are used as props for men. And doing that means that they don't get their time in the spotlight to tell real stories about women, or just stories that involve women, like Wonder Woman. Suicide Squad had Harley Quinn. How cool would it be for there to be a black Harley Quinn movie, okay, stay with me, where they actually go over the abusive relationship she has with the Joker, and she leaves. Like, the Joker and Harley Quinn, they don't belong together, and that's an abusive relationship. And that can be looked at through the lens with race added on without really adding anything. And if they wanted it to add something, that would be fine, but don't let it take away from the character. And that's what's important, is the character, and that the realness of the story stays intact, and not that people fall into these tropes. Thank you for coming to my video. Like and subscribe.